When it comes to horror games, indie fans, I'm afraid that on the whole there's bad news when it comes to the Switch library. Sure, there are a few titles that hold up pretty well, or deliver something more than some cheap jump scares and being chased around, but they're the exception and not the rule. While, for quite some time, I'd thought that walking simulator-style horror games were the bane of my existence, it turns out there is a rung of anguish even lower, and that's games where you're simply seeking out anomalies. With the Cabin Factory, there's at least a good news and bad news aspect to things. The good news is that among the handful of horror games of this type, it's by far the best in terms of concept and execution. Your job, working at a factory that cranks out carbon copies of a cabin where a tragedy took place, is to simply inspect every one coming off the line, determining whether or not they're haunted. Simple enough, though since your goal is to correctly identify 8 in a row, I'm wondering how anyone knows when you're wrong. But anyway, so you'll want to go in the first time and make a mental note of the layout, where things are, what state things are in, etc. Then on subsequent visits you'll need to make a judgment call on whether something is out of place or different. The thing is, more often than not the thrill comes from the fact that determining whether the cabin in question is haunted or not isn't too hard, since the game will gladly let you know. As jump scare moments go, I do appreciate the fact that the developers at least change things up. In some cases there are simple audio cues that ramp up some tension and give you the creeps. Sometimes as you are visually scouring, everything that focus you have then makes a scare pop a little more effectively. But of course, there's only a finite number of things to creep you out, so the experience burns out pretty quickly, either having you complete the game or simply get bored of it in only a scant few hours. At least the price is pretty well right for the bite-sized experience, but don't expect much in the way of varied content. Overall, my final score for the game ended up being a 6. And if you're interested in picking it up, it's currently available on the Switch eShop for $2.99. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this review. And if you'd like more information or ideas of indie games worth checking out on Switch, be sure to click on the link provided in the description. Until next time.